He who climbs the ladder must start at the bottom. In other words, to become good at something, you must take the proper steps. Unless you're talented, that is. The talented and gifted can be just as high on the ladder as you without ever climbing. And when they do climb, they move twice as fast. But does that mean you should stop climbing? Hinata Shoyo was far from talented. In fact, he stood at only 5'4" tall in a sport where height and power reigned supreme. But if that's the case, then why was the talentless shrimp able to compete with the best players in the country? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? Well, kinda. While Hinata was able to defeat players who did no significant training and relied purely on their height and longer limbs, he also competed with those who trained every day despite being born with natural abilities. Then what's the secret? How could Hinata possibly compete with these geniuses? Maybe it's because Hinata himself is a genius. Those we call geniuses, do you think they were just born that way? They were really just born better than you and destined to always be superior? Well, I won't deny that there are some people born with a head start, where things are a bit easier, and not to mention they learn at a much faster rate than you. But it's a little more complicated than that. See, we're all born with a gift. However, that gift may not always be so obvious. In fact, sometimes we're born with a blatant weakness that forces us to develop a skill, personality trait, or something to overcompensate. Hinata may be short and not that strong, but he was gifted with the next best thing: amazing athleticism and jumping ability. An amazing God-given gift, but this gift didn't have Hinata dominating the competition. Because no matter how high he jumped, the large looming wall was always waiting for him. It wasn't even Hinata's gift, but actually his weakness that had him dominating the competition early on. Hinata understood that he was never going to beat the block with power or height, so instead he did it with speed. Instead of trying to face the block head on, he developed the ultimate way of avoiding a block, and that turned into one of his greatest weapons. Hinata being aware that he was small and at a disadvantage also helped him to develop the killer mindset of never giving up on a play, which allowed him to make spectacular plays no one else could do by making use of his tiny but agile build. After developing something so unique from his weakness, Hinata also had to brush up on the basics. The basics that are commonly neglected early on because people use their so-called talents. After learning skills to overcome his weakness, Hinata ended up refining the various strengths he was born with. But this was no easy task. He had to put in the time and learn how to properly jump to get the most out of his tiny frame. Hinata also refined his movements and footwork to maximize his athleticism. And that's it, a combination of talent and hard work. It is only then when Hinata was able to compete with the best in the country. To dominate in your field, you need a combination of that God-given talent along with the talent we develop ourselves. Hard work and talent go hand in hand. It's only when you properly combine them both that you will achieve the results you're looking for. And that is a genius. Yes, genetics play a part of what you can and can't do on the court, but genetics themselves can only get you so far, and if you don't work on the proper skills, you're doomed to fail. I think it's a misconception that talent is something we're purely born with, but it's actually the skills we develop. I think talent is the accumulation of hard work every day over many and many years. Yes, again, for some people it might be easier, but you can do it too. We throw around these words, talentless, talented, or whatever, but not many people have access to the behind the scenes of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Work every day to the point where it looks like you were born with natural ability, when actually, it was every day of intense training was preparing you for that one moment. That being said, you can go keep complaining about what you were born with, your genetics, or whatever. I'll go on ahead.
Don't bother comparing your skills to that of another. Instead, you have only yourself to improve upon. Your path is yours and yours alone.